Perfect. Looks like we're live here. So we've got
Sweet.
Facebook going, YouTube, Twitch. So excited to interact with people on all the platforms. So Trevor, excited to have you on again, man. I'm excited to catch up. I'm glad you're feeling good. Glad you're feeling healthy and all of that. And on our end, we always love having you guys on to talk about all things inbound, all things online presence. And your team's great. What you guys do is so complimentary. So for many reasons, excited to have you on.
Yeah, dude, I'm pumped to be here as well, dude. And it's always fun hopping on with the Deal Machine community. We have, as we've talked before, there's a lot of our shared members that are doing both driving for dollars and leveraging the other tools of Deal Machine and leveraging Carrot for the inbound online side of things. So it's like peanut butter and jelly, man. I'm pumped to hop on with you guys here today and answer questions and dig in.
Awesome. Yeah. And I think, Elise, thanks for jumping in there. So again, everybody feel free to jump in the chat, introduce yourself, tell us where you're watching from. Again, I'm Matt Camp with Deal Machine, head of partnerships over here. Excited to have Trevor on again. We have a special lunch and learn edition with Trevor Mock, CEO and founder over at Carrot. So carrot.com. Just a little bit of context for people who, may or may not know your full background, but Carrot in general, I mean, you guys have been rock stars in our space. Like you've been, I know, on the Inc. 5000 list 4 years in a row, I believe. You're the lead generation hub platform that you guys have. It's focused on helping investors create online websites and help build their online presence to attract and convert motivated sellers online. So we'll talk a lot about that today around how to build a website, how to think about your online presence as an investor. I know last month you guys had over 60,000 inbound leads for your customers, and over the last 5 years you've had over 3 million inbound leads come in for your customers. So you guys clearly know what you're doing here in the space. And then you personally, you're also a real estate investor yourself. You're a family man. You've got, you're a speaker, podcaster, writer, and just have a passion for using business to make an impact on people's lives in a positive way. So I always really look forward to talking to you.
Dude, I appreciate it, man, and everyone hopping on here. Awesome. See some comments there. I'm gonna butcher your name, man, but I'm gonna give it an attempt. So is it K Ali? K Ali? Dude, let me know if that was right. Let me know if that was right. Thank you for popping in. And Matt, the biggest thing that I'm passionate about, if we dive into this part, awesome. If not, no biggie as well. But just like our company mission at Carrot says, is we want to help people build businesses of freedom and impact. And I've learned myself over the years as well that if we don't have a business that allows us to have some level of extra freedom, that we never have the time or resources to truly make the impact around us. And so that's what we've focused on for 7-8 years now at Carrot, is how do we help you do marketing that saves you more time and also gives you better deals, better leads, like Deal Machine on direct mail. If you're to send out a big direct mail piece, with 5,000 people versus a really targeted direct mail through Deal Machine, you're going to end up pulling out a much higher conversion rate on the Deal Machine leads. So less time marketing, better quality leads. We do the same thing, but the online side. And happy to dive in and teach you guys what we're doing.
Yeah,
I nailed it. Cool.
It sounds like you nailed it. That's awesome. Love it. I'd love to get into everything around freedom and impact as we go along as well, for sure. I mean, I know today we'll cover that. We'll cover your top foundational tips for creating a real estate website that actually works. And I'll throw in a link here as well. We've put out content in the past with you guys, and this will talk about it here as well, on how Carrot and Deal Machine play extremely well together. Like you said, peanut butter and jelly over here. So we love talking about how inbound and outbound, marketing tactics together can help you generate those leads. And our YouTube channel, we put out a series with you guys around that topic as well. So definitely check that out. I know. With our community today, again, anybody listening to this right now, feel free to throw questions in the chat. Trevor's an open book. He's a phenomenal teacher. So we're very much, happy to have him, give us his time. And, he's excited to engage with our community here too. So feel free, if you have specific questions, to throw that in the chat as we go along. But to kind of start, I know you talked about the freedom and impact mission. Can you maybe talk a little bit more around just why you started Carrot, why you saw that is such a great way to be able to give back and to have a positive impact on people and to drive that mission forward for other people?
Dude, the biggest thing for me, kind of the brief version of the story is that as I ran several businesses before Carrot, and I learned a lot of things about what I loved about the businesses and what I didn't like about the businesses. And I think anytime we're starting something, if we're starting a business, we're usually, I found over the years, we're running away from something at the start, right? We're usually running away from an income ceiling that we don't like. We're running away from a job or a dead end career, or running away from someone who says that they don't believe in us. And so we're trying to prove them wrong. Mm-hmm. So we're usually, when we start businesses, running away from something. But then about 2, 3, 4 years in, once you kind of hit that initial income level, where you don't have to worry about running away from that thing again. If it's an income thing and you're like, man, if I can just finally make $5,000 a month or $10,000 a month or whatever that number is from this business, as soon as that happens, you don't have that thing to run away from anymore, right? And so that usually happens 2, 3, 4 years into the business. And then a shift happens that we have to then start to run towards something. And Matt, this is kind of where Carrot came in, is I had started several businesses. I was on a 2 to 3 year cycle with each one of them. Yeah. Where it's like, I'm a starter, right? I'm a starter, like a lot of people on here, where I would start the business. It'd start to get to some initial point of good, consistent income, but then I'd get burnt out. I'd start to not want to go to work. I'd start to not be passionate about what we were doing, not be passionate about the mission. And I would get distracted and look for other things. And I call this the 2 to 3 year turn and burn cycle. Mm-hmm. And the reason this is relevant to everyone on here is at that spot, instead of like I'd done in the previous businesses of just saying, well, I'm just going to get distracted with the new thing. I really looked at that business and I said, what are the things I love about this business and every business I've ever ran before? And what are the things I absolutely do not like, and I'm never going to do those again? And I came up with what I call my 5 non-negotiables. And this was back in 2011, 2012. And one of the best ways to discover and find what you do want in business or life is to write down a list of all the things you don't want or the things you don't like, right? Great. And so I wrote, I don't like the inconsistency in my income, because I would make some pretty good money as a mid to a late 20-something-year-old guy. I'd be making somewhere between 150 and 200,000, 250,000 a year, which is really good. It was amazing. That would have been my dream 3, 4, 5 years ago, or 3, 4, 5 years before that, right? And I'm sitting there kind of wallowing in my own sorrow of how I've built this business that makes me good money but stresses me out, that causes me to stay up really, really late in my work because I've got to do all this stuff to get business and leads coming in all the time. And I was sitting there with those non-negotiables, Matt. One of the things, like I said, was inconsistency. And I said, I want my next business to be insanely consistent. I want it to be consistent and predictable in both lead flow and income. So you can finally then have more of that freedom and make an impact, right? Next, down the list, I'm like, I want to have a business I feel passionate about truly at my core, where I'm like, you know what? I'm pumped about why we're doing what we're doing. And that's hard. That's easier said than done. It takes work to try to kind of figure it out. Might take years for you. And there are a few other of those non-negotiables, but for the sake of this call here, I looked at that top one, the consistency and predictability one, and building an asset. I want to build a long-term valuable asset. That was non-negotiable number 3, because all the things I've been doing before were just turning and burning, turning a transaction, turning a deal, whatever it is, right? And when that deal or transaction is done, you have the income. But now if you walk out and get hit by a bus, that income's gone for your family, right? And so I'm just going, well, how do I now take this and turn it into something that's a valuable asset over the long term? That as I do more and more things, it's almost like you're stacking bricks, like you're building a house versus just transactional income that goes into the bank and you got to do it again. Yep. And so that mindset carried me into kind of 2012, 2013. And I'd already had a lot of experience in driving leads online. I started with a simple blog back in 2004, bought my first rental property in 2004. And I started blogging, Matt. I'm like, let me just type up like how I'm doing what I'm doing. And I started uploading my forms I was using, like landlord move in, move out form, and whatever checklist, and rental property manager reviews. I started doing reviews on rental properties because that's the extent that I was doing real estate at the time, was just owning rental properties. Mm-hmm. And I discovered that when you put content online, when you do a certain thing with it, Google really loves that. Like, you're not gaming the system. You're giving Google exactly what they want. And then I started to get all these people coming to my website. I'm like, whoa, where do these people come from? And they're really motivated. They're asking questions. They're actually clicking these links and buying this software that I was reviewing, or they're clicking the link and downloading these free tools I had. I had nothing to sell. I was just giving free value. And over time, I'm like, well, there's a formula to this. If I just create content in a certain way and I put it online, I do these things to optimize the content. Google loves it. And then consistently and predictably, people come to my website all hours of the day, every single day. And it gets bigger and bigger every year. And so fast forwarding to that 2011, 2012, when I made the non-negotiables, that one non-negotiable at the top, consistency and predictability, I looked at my business before that. And I said, what were the marketing methods that I used in that previous business that were the most consistent and predictable? And I looked at the last 3 years in that business, and I found the majority of our income came from what I call hamster wheel marketing. It's marketing that you do one time, and then you have to do it over and over and over again to make it work, right? That's doing cold calling, whatever it is. You've got to pick up a phone and do calls. And while you're picking up the phone and doing calls, or while you're sending out that big mail drop, or while you're knocking on doors or whatever, it works. But the second you stop doing that, it stops working. You got to do it all over again. You got to get back on the hamster wheel. And so I was looking at all this marketing I was doing that made me good money in that previous business, and this one line item that was like 10% of my income. But the cool thing was I had done those things 2 to 3 years prior. I'd created this content and put them online 2 to 3 years prior in that business, and it was still getting traffic and customers every single month. And I'm just like, what if I just did that? Like, what if I just did almost all of that and I built my business off of that stuff? And would that build a more solid, more predictable, more consistent business that's a more valuable asset that actually attracts more of the right customers? So I have to sift through fewer low quality leads. They're more motivated. They're more of the right customers. They're actively seeking out their solutions. And what if I just built my business off of that? And so that's what turned into Carrot. For the several years before that, I'd helped investors to attract leads online using that same method. And then we said, man, there's something here. That if we could just really help real estate investors do more of this, to attract more of the best leads, the online leads, the people who are seeking out a solution. And if we can help people not just get online, right? The previous decade was getting online. That was it. Your Wix, Weebly, Squarespace, GoDaddy, they all popped up to help you get online. Everyone was online. It's not hard to get online, guys. I can literally on my cell phone get online in 5 minutes using Wix or something. But everyone was online, and I'm going, man, based off of what I'd learned over the previous 6, 7, 8 years, on how to attract the right prospects and how to do what's called conversion rate optimization to make a website convert well. I said, everyone's online, but they're losing so many leads and deals because their websites are not set up to actually convert well. And that became Carrot in 2014. And we tested it out. It worked. And now today our clients generate, like you were saying, 60 to 80,000 leads a month. Most of them are inbound organic leads. And the second top lead source is paid traffic, like Google Ads and Facebook.
Yeah. That's phenomenal, man. Yeah, and we're getting some good questions already coming in. So fantastic. And KLE, I've got, here's the link as well. This is something I know we talked about, DealMachine and Carrot, the combination of those two things we talk about often on our channels. We love having you on. This link talk about that. Feel free to go through there if you're gonna try Carrot as well. But Trevor, maybe can you talk a little bit around? I know you kind of defined it there, but just evergreen marketing is something that you guys often talk about, and maybe explain that again, and then also how that works well, in tandem with that outbound, marketing that they might be doing using an app like DealMachine.
Yep. Dude, let me see if I can find, I've got my iPad over here. Let me see if I can find the right graphic here. I've got so many darn drawings on my iPad, dude. I didn't have the right ones. Didn't have the right ones pulled up. I'll find it, but I'll speak it first. One sec. Yeah, I'll verbalize it here. So here's the high level, guys. So there's two types of marketing in general. There's outbound and inbound, right? So outbound marketing is where you're taking a marketing message and then you're getting it in front of people. Okay, you're getting it in front of people actively who may not be actively searching in that moment for a marketing message, right? They're not actively searching for a solution in that second. Okay, and outbound marketing works amazingly well. So if you were to look at the biggest investors in the space or biggest agents or whatever it is, you usually get your volume from outbound. Okay, you usually get your volume from outbound. what I'm going to do this, Matt. I'm going to draw it, dude. Like I've got it, but I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share my screen. I think you'll need to move it over to whatever to share it there.
Let me bring that over here for you as well. Yeah, I always love when you can illustrate this.
Cool. Awesome. Cool. So this is the messier version of this. I've got so many drawings on my iPad, but we're going to look at this first, right? So we've got Evergreen versus hamster wheel marketing. And oftentimes the hamster wheel is the outbound side of it, right? So it works really, really well while you're doing the thing. And I'm going to compare guys, DealMachine versus other direct mail types, versus driving for dollars, or I'm sorry, versus cold calling, things like that, because DealMachine is different. DealMachine is a far different version of outbound marketing. It's a highly targeted version of it. You're going to have a much higher quality lead. And so the outbound marketing might look something like this, where you do the thing, you do the activity, and it works really well. It can work really fast too. So if you can picture picking up the phone and doing your 100 dials a day or something, and now it works, right? That's the thing about all outbound marketing is direct mail works. Cold calling works, text message marketing works. You can go knock on houses, it works. Driving for dollars works amazingly well. All these methods work, okay? Bandit signs work. Craigslist, that's kind of an inbound, outbound. That stuff works. The thing with it, though, is you have to continually be doing the thing to make it work, right? So the second that you go on vacation or the second that whatever, comes up, you want to take a day off or you get sick. My family and I, we went through the whole COVID stuff about 3 weeks ago. And so we were kind of out of commission for a week and a half to 2 weeks, right? So if you're a solo shop and you don't have employees who are doing this work for you, your leads are going to start to go down then when you get off of that hamster wheel to stop doing the stuff. Okay. And then you get back on the hamster wheel, you go, oh man, shoot, I'm back from vacation. Or I worked through that big glut of leads, because if you're going to do a broad direct mail drop of 5,000, 8,000, 10,000 pieces, you're going to have to wade through a lot of garbage leads. You're going to have to wade through the people that are saying, yelling at you, cussing, take me off the list. You're going to have to wade through all of these leads, usually somewhere between 40 and 60 leads for normal direct mail marketing in order to get one deal. And so in order to get through 40 to 60 traditional direct mail leads, that's not how DealMachine is. DealMachine's ratios are a lot better. In order to get through 40 to 60 direct mail leads, who's going to take those phone calls, guys? Like, it's got to be you or someone that you hire to sift through all those phone calls and to have all this automation. With Evergreen marketing, it's slower, right? It's slower. Like, you start off, you put that piece of content online, you launch what we call an authority hub here at Carrot, which is a website that is more dialed in to really help you build trust, authority, and attract the right clients than a traditional website. You start to slowly stack on, some content and do the things that we teach. And then somewhere between the 6-month mark, 8-month mark, 12-month mark, as long as you're doing the right things start to pop. And you get real momentum there. And that's where the consistency and predictability come in. It's a good bit of work in this first 6 months without a lot of result. But then this is where the magic is. That's where the freedom is, where the volume is. And you're going to attract insanely high quality leads, because these are only people who go to Google and actually type like, how do I sell my house fast in Cincinnati? Or selling a home I inherited in blah. They're all actively searching for a solution, which makes their motivation higher. And actually your close ratio is going to be much higher. Rather than 1 in 40, 60 leads into a deal like through direct mail or cold calling, it's going to be 1 in 10 to 15 leads on average in this method. Okay. So this right here, guys, is inbound. It's where people are actively searching out a solution, usually through Google. Outbound is where you're putting a marketing message in front of people. And I'm going to toss it back over to you, Matt, but where DealMachine is amazing here is it's kind of a hybrid, right? Because you're not just dropping 5,000 postcards or 5,000 whatevers, or doing a ton of, cold calls through this massive list. You're actually going out there and having people drive and look at houses that indicate motivation. And so the direct mail that's going out to them is only to houses that have a much better chance of showing high motivation. And so you're gonna have to go through fewer leads to get a deal out of that.
Exactly.
But, yep, that's inbound versus outbound there. And I can go into tons more topics for sure.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, I mean, I think in general as well, the idea being like, hey, you've got these shorter term marketing feedback loops of, quick outreach, the door knock, the text, the call, the email, when you're out driving for dollars and you're out, able to actually create, an original targeted list that no one else has.
Yep.
That'll give you that short-term feedback loop. And then in tandem, if you're working on that online presence, and that's going to ramp up over time, you'll get to that point where you can build your own driving team and automate that outbound stuff, and then also have that inbound piece covered where people are knowing you as that authority hub, as that credible expert in your industry that they find right away whenever they start searching, and they're extremely high intent leads at that point as well. So,
dude, and that's why it's perfect. I'm glad you mentioned that. That's why we talk about like DealMachine and Carrot kind of being the peanut butter and jelly, because you can get leads quick with online marketing through paid marketing. And so you can do that. You do have to have some level of a budget. That's a whole nother conversation. We can dive into that and how to correctly budget your paid marketing. Yep. But what we always suggest for people, and some of our most successful clients that had started off as brand new investors, they started off driving for dollars. Many of them, they just started driving around and they got their first handful of deals done, took that profit, and then said, well, how do I now pile this into something that's online and scalable there? And then over time, they scale out their driving team with that. And that's how you step out and get that freedom.
Love it. Well, we're getting great questions coming in too. So I definitely, I have plenty myself, but I want to make sure people get the ample opportunity to be able to ask these too. So
awesome.
I'll jump over there. I know we had a couple questions on, does Carrot offer different pages or website types for specific types of leads? Like for example, here it says, can Carrot, have a website be geared and focused for tax delinquent? If you're going after that specific or foreclosure or, a specific type of lead.
For sure, dude. I'm going to do another screen share on you here. So I'll give people some examples of kind of what you can do. So the answer is yes. So what we focus at Carrot, and this is what I would suggest you guys doing, whether you're a Carrot client or not. I mean, we hope that we can work with you, but if you're not, I want you always to take away awesome content that you can use to really grow your business. So the main types of leads that we help people get are motivated sellers. And then I'm going to break that up into a couple buckets. Okay. Motivated sellers of houses is our primary type of lead source that comes in. That's the vast majority of the leads that come into our system. In the motivated sellers, there's land. We have a lot of land leads that come in. So if you were to Google literally a phrase like sell my land, or even that phrase in certain states, you're going to see you're going to see some Carrot sites in those areas where the people have got on there, customized their site, built in their credibility, with that Authority Hub software that we have, and then just going through our training and executing. We have mobile home sellers like this one here. So mobile homes are a big thing right now. And this client went through our concierge program where they launched the website and then they said, well, I don't have the time to go through and do the modifications to really make it stand out, but I would love for you guys to do it for me. And then they just paid us to do that. So you can see as you're popping around in here, you can see it's a real person, it's a real family. And there's certain things we can break down in here. As far as tax delinquent, that's not really a separate website type. That's more of a, I'll bring up another one here. That's not really a separate website type, guys. It's more of a traditional motivated house seller. Okay, so a website like this one here with Integrity Home Buyers, they came in here, launched the Carrot site, started diving in, adding in their credibility. So if you land here, you can really see the credibility of this company, added in the local photos, their smiling faces, a bunch of testimonials in here. They've just done an amazing job with this Carrot site in conjunction with our team. So if you're in tax delinquent, or if you are, you inherited a house or whatever it is, the main thing that's popping up for that seller is not specifically, how do I sell my tax delinquent house? It's, I've got a house I need to sell for cash and just get out from underneath the situation. And so all that they need to know at that point is when they land on your site that you can buy a house and buy it quickly, and that you're a trusted source that can help them solve their problem. And so in that example on the website, if tax delinquent is one of your primary niches, I would just somewhere on here talk about the different types of houses that you buy. So maybe right here it could say, if you are you going through one of these situations, delinquent on taxes and you need to sell, you have you're tired, you have tenant issues and you're evicting someone or whatever it is, fire damaged home, or you could list all the different reasons that you might be buying a house right here. I guess these are good reasons. Did you inherit a property, relocating, upgrading, downsizing, foreclosure, major repairs needed, divorce, bankruptcy, health issues? You could put, delinquent on taxes in there as well. So yeah, just focus that on a motivated house seller. So we have land sites. On the buyer side of things, what a lot of our clients use Carrot for is cash buyers. So if you were to search a phrase like as an example, let's say wholesale properties, Louisville, Kentucky, or like a phrase like that. So if you're looking for a discounted piece of real estate in Louisville and you were a hedge fund, which this is something we're seeing a lot right now, where the hedge funds are buying in certain cities in mass amounts. And we'd found that we've literally had clients come and attract hedge fund buyers just from ranking really well for a phrase like this: wholesale properties in Louisville, or discount properties or cheap properties in Louisville. And then there's ads that you can pay to be here. But the organic side of things is this. So let's click this one here. This is a Carrot client that used our cash buyer website. Okay, so right here, you can post your properties, build your buyer's list. He gets buyer's leads every single day. And then when you have a property or a contract for sale, then you can put them right inside of here, inside the Carrot tool. And you can market these on social media, market these wherever the heck you market these. A couple other examples, Matt, that we have, like your main company credibility. If you do lots of different types of real estate, you could have one that just represents your whole main company credibility. Rent to own or lease option. So there's a lot of lease option rent to own leads that are coming in right now. I don't have one of those pulled up handy here, but lots of those leads come in, which are going to be really, really amazing leads probably in the next market cycle.
Yeah.
So they're going to be really good leads.
I think you nailed it there too, talking about the content itself. Like, the website structure, like you guys make that really easy and really SEO friendly. So that way you're going to be quickly be found, by Google as fast as possible, just from being technically sound, and easy to crawl. But then I think outside of that, like you said, if you customize the content to fit that specific seller motivation, that's where they're going to find you. They're going to find your educational content that you're putting out. Because like you said, Google, the whole point of a search engine is to give people the best information as quickly as possible. So if you're the one supplying that, if you're the one educating, then you're naturally, Google wants to rank your site organically higher to help people out quicker.
Dude, 100%. And one thing too, many of you guys probably saw Zillow's announcement, and I'm gonna kind of dive into a couple little education pieces you guys can take away here. You guys probably saw Zillow's announcement where they're not buying houses anymore, right? It wasn't like the way that they were wording it was, we're not pausing like they've done before. The way they were wording it was, we were discontinuing our home buyer program. Like, it's gone. Now, will it come back someday? Possibly, but their wording was it's gone. And here's a couple reasons why, guys. So I'm going to do a live stream on this on Thursday sometime to go deep on this and how does it impact agents and investors. But the reason for this, and the reason why having the right type of website and the right content on the website is critical, is Zillow is amazing at raising a bunch of money, and then they had an algorithm with a terrible way to analyze property values, the Zestimate, which we've all known for years. If they would have only listened to most people that said the Zestimate estimate is not right and not based their offers off of that, they probably would have done better. But they were buying a lot of houses with their Zestimate. They didn't have a good ground game. Now, what does that mean? They didn't have really good insights into the local markets as deeply as they should have. They didn't know that if they were buying a house right here in this neighborhood, that there is a meth house across the street that blew up 2 weeks ago, and that doesn't show on their Google map thingy. And they're making an offer, they're buying it. But a real estate investor that comes over there is going to see the meth house blown up over there and going to go, well, the offer isn't here, it's down here. Or they're going to see a nuance, and they're going to know that this whole area is on this sinking ground and foundation issues are really bad. And they're going to go in, they're really looking at the foundation really tightly if you know the ground game well. Zillow's making offers on property where they didn't know that stuff. And so you as an investor in the local area, by knowing your markets, knowing your neighborhoods, knowing things amazingly well is going to help you stand out. Now you take that information, put it on your website. Show that you're hyper local. Show that you are here, you live there, or if you don't live there, that you're a specialist there. You have people there that can help you. You show pictures of houses and properties that you have done deals on in that area, if you can, if you've done deals. You show that you're a real person that you can really talk to. You put some videos on the website to stand out and show that expertise. And you're going to start to have that. You're going to start to have that really show through, whether you're a newer investor or experienced, that people want to connect with people who seem like they're experts and who are experts. And you can really show that with your website big time.
Yep. 100%. That was great. I do have one question. You briefly touched on paid ads, like paid distribution. I know Shanita asked here, targeting qualified leads. Like, do you have any suggestions on, targeting leads like that and paid, advertising and online focus like that?
Dude, 100%. Let me pull this up. So I've got my Google Analytics pulled up, and I'll show you guys. I had it pulled up. Where'd it go? So let me talk through it really quick while I'm figuring out how to get my page pulled up. So yes, if we were going after a new market, what I would do every single time, I've got it right here now. What I would do every single time is if I'm looking to get leads and traffic quickly, right? While I'm building up that evergreen marketing with our content marketing tools. Because like I said, the evergreen marketing is like the most sought after, the highest lead quality, the highest conversion. It's the best type of lead that you can get. We did this survey and study. Let me show this really quick, Matt.
Yeah.
Last month, we surveyed hundreds and hundreds of our customers, and we asked them. We said, when you guys are doing deals, what are you guys seeing as far as your lead to deal conversion rate with your carrot leads versus non-carrot leads? And then what are you guys seeing with your value per deal or your revenue per deal, carrot versus non-carrot, and then your value per lead? And so what this showed was lead to deal, meaning if I get a lead, how many leads do I have to get in order to turn into a deal? On average with this survey, this is average, guys. So that means many people were doing far better and some people were doing a little bit worse, right? So on average, about 8.2% conversion, or about a 1 in 8 to 1 in 10 leads into a deal with this survey on average. Other methods was about a 1%. So,
wow.
That's going to take a lot more leads to turn into a deal in the other methods that they were using. Average value or average revenue per deal with the methods we're going to show you, and I'm going to show you how to target them, is about $23,000. There's a very specific reason I'm bringing this up, because if you have these extra margins and if you're targeting higher motivated and higher quality leads, you can then go out there and spend more for your marketing. If you're targeting lower quality leads that are going to convert at a lower rate and have a lower profit per deal, you can't spend as much money in marketing. It gets harder. And so average profit per deal with the carrot methods is about $23,000. In others, it was less than half that. Average value per lead. So if you get every single lead you get, about how much on average is it worth for revenue? About $1,800 per lead for revenue. Why is this important? Because if we know on average about what your value per lead is, or how much every lead is going to be worth approximately, depending on your close ratio and your average profit per deal, then we say, well, shoot, that means I could break even and spend $1,800 a lead. Now, I'm not going to spend that on marketing, right? But I'm going to maybe spend 20 to 25% of that. And so if I look at this and say, well, what's 20% of $1,800? I'm going to whip out my trusty calculator here on the math, because I'm not good at math in my head.
200.
So 1890 times whatever that is, 20%. That's about $378 a lead.
Well, gotcha.
Right, guys? So you guys might be looking at this and going, Trevor, I'm not going to pay $378 a lead. But guys, the math shows that you can with this type of marketing. Now, you're not going to have to. If you're going to launch a Google Ads campaign, I can show you guys a couple examples there. If you're going to launch a Google Ads campaign, it might cost you between $70 and $200 a lead. Okay. Some markets, you might even pay $300 a lead, which isn't cheap. But in those markets like a Boston or some of the other markets, your average profit per deal now is like $70,000 or $80,000. Okay. So if I know that I've got a bunch of margin in here, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go launch a Google Ads campaign. So if we were to look at this is our Google Analytics. Let's bring this up. This is I'll just go from the start of the pandemic through today. And this is for our clients' websites. Okay. So, I messed that up. So let me go March 1st, 2020. So that's the start of the pandemic. We'll take this up through today, apply. What this is going to show you guys is where are the leads coming from, okay, across our system. So those leads that Matt had mentioned earlier in the call, this is real data, guys. Like, we don't make this up. We'll show you everything. We'll show you behind the scenes. The number one source is what they call direct, and that could be people literally typing in the URL directly. And that also is Google miscategorizes. It's a very, very common thing where they'll miscategorize things that are not direct. It could be even organic search, but a lot of people are typing in our clients' websites by direct. Okay. The number two is organic search. That's someone going to Google, but here's the difference. You can see the direct converts on average. This is any page that they land on. So someone might be looking at this going, well, a 3% conversion rate on a page for seller is not good. That's correct. Okay. We see usually on a paid ad, it's 10 to 15, 10 to 20% conversion on paid ads through Google from a click to a lead. But 3% is people landing on any page on any entrance. So they might have literally found someone's contact page by default. They landed it, that counts as a visit. Or they might have landed on a blog post and they landed on it, it counts as a visit and not a conversion page. But what I want to show you guys is the vast difference in organic search, that it converts so much higher that you can get less traffic and get more leads because they're actively seeking out a solution. Social is next, which is kind of crazy, right? Social converts okay, lower than organic by a good bit. The bounce rate's really high in social, meaning someone's on their cell phone and they're scrolling through and they're a lot more apt to get distracted again by that horse video or whatever and bounce back off of your website because they're on social. Bounce rate on organic is extremely low, meaning they're engaged, they're searching for a solution, they're really wanting to get this thing solved. And then you've got paid search down here. So paid search is broken down between Google ads, Bing ads, the whole thing. Social, last thing on this map, social actually includes Facebook ads as well. So Facebook ads is included in this social deal. But that's how we find the targeted clients, guys, is number one, we always want to amplify our offline marketing. So if you're doing driving for dollars, if you're doing any other type of marketing, direct mail, cold calling, all of your offline marketing drives online demand. Okay, so if you're doing a direct mail drop or you're sending out several hundred or several thousand pieces from DealMachine or doing cold calling, people are going to pick up the phone and Google your company name. They're going to say, who are these people? They're going to Google the phone numbers that are on your marketing pieces. They're going to say, who are these people that keep calling me? And then they need to find something online that is going to build trust and credibility with them. If they Google Integrity Home Buyers in Oklahoma and they find this, they're going to go, man, this is a legit company. Okay, this company, it seems like they're trustworthy people. There's testimonials, and this person, man, I've got a lot of stress in my transaction. It looks like Integrity Home Buyers help take the stress off of people. Well, man, I went through the process of selling a home before, and it was really hard, and it was just terrible. Well, this person said it was really easy. Maybe I should check them out. And so this right here is going to help you make all of your offline marketing work better. Number two, what I would do to find those targeted people to get leads coming in quick is, like Matt said, Google. I would do Google ads personally. And you can pull out a lead in Google ads, like I was showing here, far lower than the average revenue per deal that you're going to find it. And on average between the $70 and $200 if you're targeting just one city. Just one city. Here's kind of an advanced tip for y'all. If you guys if you guys have seen those, those big lead selling services like Need to Sell My House Fast. I Need to Sell My House Fast, great company. I know the guy, they have solid leads that come through there too, and you can get leads through them. People sometimes say, well, how the heck can I buy a lead from them so cheaply? Which you can. Oftentimes those leads are shared with multiple investors, so you have to kind of follow up on them, not all the times. And they're a great company. The reason that national companies like this are able to sell leads so cheaply is because when you do Google ads at the national level versus just one city, your lead cost is going to be a fraction. So you might literally be able to get a lead in this city for $17, $25 a lead if you're doing a national ad campaign. If you're doing an ads campaign focused just on that city, it might be $150 a lead because Google doesn't have as much data to really pile into the algorithm to feed you back the right leads and the right clicks. But I would start that. I would carve out a budget based on these numbers I'm showing you here, or whatever your numbers are in your market. Ask yourself, what's your average profit per deal? Let's say it's $10,000. Write that down. Then see how many leads does it take to turn into one of those deals. If you're not sure with the online side, just figure 1 in 10 because that's kind of what we see on average, right? So let's say average profit per deal is 10K. It takes me 10 leads to get that. And then say, well, how much would I be willing to spend in marketing dollars to get that $10,000? I like to use a 20 to 25% number to start and then work it down as you go. And so maybe I'd say, well, to get my first deal done, I'd be willing to spend $2,500 to get that $10,000, right? And then you walk it back just like we've done here and say, well, if it takes me 10 leads and I'd be willing to spend $2,500 to get that deal, divide that, and you're going to see that your max cost per lead is $250, meaning you can pay up to $250 to get a lead, assuming that 1 in 10 closes into a deal that is going to profit you $10K. And guys, the math shows that you can crush it. Use math, not emotion. Or a lot of people do, what a lot of people do with their marketing, Matt, is use emotion. They go, well, man, I'm going to put $500 into this ad campaign and see what happens. Okay. But math says in this example that you should be able and willing to spend up to $2,500 to get that 10,000 out. But you're stopping at 600. You might as well light that money on fire. Like you might get lucky pulling a deal out in the first 500, but maybe it's the 900th dollar that you spend on that ad that gets to your deal. Maybe it's the 1900th dollar. Maybe it's the 2,450 2-cent dollar. And then that finally closes that deal. You get it. You get your 10K. You get your $2,500 back, and now you've got an extra $7,500 to go out there and spend in marketing now. So remove emotion, follow math, guys.
Yep. Yeah, and I think the big mindset shift for a lot of people is moving from thinking of marketing as an expense to thinking of it as an investment. Where, like you said, hey, you're doing the math, you're understanding that you've got to put the dollars in to be able to work down that funnel, get the leads that you need, and have the dollars come out the other end. So,
100%.
Yeah. We had a couple content questions coming in too. Lonnie was asking about like multifamily leads specifically.
Yeah.
Do you have people or any lessons learned from people using Carrot for that type of property as well?
Dude, for sure. So here's a caveat with that. We definitely have people using Carrot for multifamily. I'll show you a couple examples, but it's a little bit different depending on the type of multifamily that you do. So I myself use Carrot primarily for my multifamily. Okay. But it's for tenants primarily. So I get every single week, I get leads coming in. It's going to pull up my cell phone here. I get leads coming in from Carrot. I get my little text messages that says you've got a Carrot lead. And so I'll show you guys this right here. This is my text messages for tenants that have come through from my multifamily. So 2 came in Friday last week, then more. So I might get 3, 4, 5 a week. Okay. And so those are for people looking for rentals, and they might type a phrase, like whatever it is, Klamath Falls, apartments for it near OIT or whatever. I also use it for like I own a vacation home, an Airbnb in a resort called the Running Y. And we launched a Carrot website for this. It's this one right here, runningytownhouse.com. It's not a fancy site. I launched it 6 years ago. I haven't modified the site since then. I literally haven't touched it. I haven't logged into the site. And it gets traffic, it gets leads, and our Airbnb in that area is always booked out. Okay, but the cool thing is when you go back over here, and you can do the same thing with multifamily for tenants. I'm going to switch to finding sellers here in a second, okay, for multifamily. But if people are looking for townhomes for rent in the Running Y, and these are other examples of what people are searching for the Running Y, you can see Airbnb pays for ads here. You can pay for ads for multifamily to get tenants or to get sellers. And I'll show you how to get sellers here in a second. The cool thing is here, Matt, this is a whole nother call, but this is actually my listing that Airbnb has been advertising on their dime for over a year and a half. My listing. I don't pay for it. If I click it, it goes to my listing. This here is VRBO. Then that's the actual resort. And this is my Carrot website. We're above kayak.com. We're above VRBO. That happens to be my listing as well. That is my listing organically on there. And then we're above Zillow. Guys, we own half of the page. 100% using Carrot and the methods we teach in Carrot. So for multifamily, how it's going to be different is people in general, if they're the more sophisticated commercial investor and they own let's say they own a 100-unit property, they're not going to go to Google and type sell my apartment building in Cincinnati as often. Okay. There might be some people typing it in Cincinnati. So there might be some people typing that thing, but what they're probably going to do is they're probably going to say like, commercial real estate broker in blah, 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 whatever it is, so they're going to probably type for that type of a phrase if they're a sophisticated property owner that has a large property. Now, where people are going to Google to type this, where you can get inbound is smaller properties. So sell fourplex, look at this guy. So Google's giving me suggestions. Anytime you see suggestions pop up, it means enough people have typed this into Google that Google is going to recognize it and say, I'm going to show it to you as a suggestion because you might be thinking this because other people typed this also. So fourplex in Cincinnati, sell fourplex apartment building in Cincinnati. It's pulling that up because I just typed Cincinnati. So it's going to bring that in. Okay. So people are typing that. They're typing like duplex, sell my duplex, things like that. Should I sell my duplex? Should I sell my duplex now? I want to sell my duplex. So you could create pages and create content that is like that. Create a blog post or a video that's, should I sell my duplex now in Cincinnati? And you create a little video. You could use our system. We have a tool called Video Post that literally takes your 3 to 8 minute YouTube video where you're just talking about, should you sell your duplex in Cincinnati? And it turns it into a written article for you, just like this. So Roseburg farmland, if you were to Google this Roseburg farmland, you can see some national ones up here, realtor.com, Lands of America, LandWatch, LandFlip. The number one result that's been here since 2017, this is evergreen marketing, guys. Like, this is evergreen marketing. Since May 5th of 2017, this has been ranked in the top 3 of Google and been number 1 for over 2 years now for any phrases around Roseburg farmland is this. And this is what I would do if I was doing multifamily or any of them. Is once a week, couple times a month, whatever the cadence. I mean, the more often, the better. Whip out that cell phone when you're out there on a deal, or when you're in your office and you're analyzing deal. Take out the cell phone, say, hey, this is Trevor with XYZ Property Buyers or XYZ Multifamily or whatever it is. I'm actually making an offer on a property right now, and I'm just going to walk you through my process of how we make offers here in Cincinnati to buy your house, whether it's foreclosure or you just go down the list, and then you record a 3 to 8 minute video, upload it to YouTube. Put it into our video post feature. Our video post feature automatically yanks the video in. It sends you about 2 hours later an article. It says, hey, your article's done. It puts your title in here from your YouTube video. You can change it if you want to. It brings your video in, and it brings the entire video transcription in automatically with a call to action at the end of it. And that's all this guy did. He spent 3 minutes and 23 seconds recording a non-fancy video with his iPhone. He uploaded it to YouTube, put it into video post. And he's been the number 1 ranking for most farmland phrases in Roseburg for 3.5 years. That's evergreen, guys. But you can do the same thing for tenants, like I've done with Airbnb and with my rental property site with Carrot. You can do the same thing with multifamily. But this last thing I'll say on multifamily is I would primarily use your authority hub or your website as credibility, right? So if you're buying multifamily and you are raising capital, what's the very first thing that your lenders are going to go do? They're going to Google you. They're going to Google the heck out of you, your company name, your name. They're going to Google whatever your name is, reviews. They're going to Google like phrases like the person's name scams to see if anything pops up sometimes. And it's going to be really important that they land on a website that is like this, but has multifamily stuff on it that says, hey, here's our experience. Here's properties we've bought. Here's some other clients that we've worked with. Here's a link to our 5 properties that we have. Here's our about page, things like that. This is what I would do with the website.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, Shanita also had a follow-up question there on content suggestions specifically for marketing to older adults. Do you have any topic or content tips there?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess on our end, we really don't differentiate by older adults, younger people. In general, you're probably going to be working generally with an older demographic who has owned a property for a long enough time to possibly have equity in it. Of course, if you're doing creative finance, it doesn't have to have equity to make a deal. You could assume the mortgage subject to things like that. But in general, an older demographic is going to search things, like how do I sell my house fast, or selling a house without a real estate agent, things like that. But yeah, as far as content goes, the older demographic more and more has been adopting social media. It was, dude, I was amazed when my 83-year-old grandma got a Facebook account 3 or 4 years ago, and she started liking my posts, right? I'm going, this is crazy. So if my 84-year-old grandma and my dad, who's like the person I would pick the last in the world to ever adopt social media ever, my dad's on there liking posts and sharing crap and doing stuff like that. I'm going, like, if they're on these platforms, we can put content in front of them because that's the largest growing demographic of Facebook. And now they're starting to move over to Instagram. So just put up content that shows that you're trustworthy, that you're credible. As you do deals, start to put some video testimonials up on Facebook, put the video testimonials up on your website, things like that. And then just go through the playbook that we have here at Carrot. If you're a Carrot client, we have tons of free training. We have a playbook. We have free resources that you guys can do. as well. We have a video marketing playbook that's completely for free. That's going to literally give you video ideas for an entire year. We're going to give you 52 video ideas, exactly what to say in them, how to title them, and then you go record those short videos, put them on YouTube, and then put them into your video post feature at Carrot to get that evergreen stuff going. And we can give you guys that link here in a sec or post it through the comments box.
Love that. Yeah. I mean, I think you guys put out phenomenal just educational resources in general and great content. And, we're always, like I said, one of our favorite guests to host on stuff like this. So really appreciate your time, man. I think, I know we only have a few minutes left here, so feel free to get any last questions in. We've had some really, really good ones so far. I know you talked about the Authority Hub in general, so I would love to give people that playbook of, hey, maybe they're using DealMachine for their outbound stuff. They're looking at starting their Authority Hub with you guys. Like, what are some of those fundamentals that you did a good job covering it already, but any other fundamentals that you have on like how to get started in creating that first website and specific tips that are going to make a really big impact on your online presence?
Dude, for sure. I mean, of course, we would love to work with you guys. It's something, we've been doing this and leading the industry for 7-8 years now. And it's something we're passionate about. We want to help you guys stand out, do less work over the long term, win back your freedom, make a greater impact. So the very first thing that I would do is this, and I'll share my screen again.
Yeah.
Let me pull this up here. The very first thing that I would do, y'all, is this. So the structure of what we call an Authority Hub and how it's different than a traditional website is essentially this. Most websites, might have a landing page or maybe just a home page and a couple pages up here. And we pioneered most of what you see in the industry today. So if you see Get My Fair Cash Offer on any websites out there, you can find the blog post that we literally started that about 6 years ago based off a ton of split testing. If you see orange buttons, guys, we started that 6, 7, 8 years ago based off our split testing. You can find the blog post on it. If you see any website designs that have this little curved thing, or that ask property address phone here, that do the step 2, that we started that. And one of the things that we pioneered in this industry was something that we call location pages. We modeled that after Zillow, after LoopNet, where when you do a Google search, and this is part of the Authority Hub strategy, when you do a Google search, you never ever land on Zillow's homepage when you do a Google search and they pop up. Like if you type a phrase like, homes, whatever it is, homes for sale, Roseburg, Oregon, or something like that, which is where I am, you're usually going to find Zillow at the top and then Realtor and Trulia around there, right? And you're never going to land on their homepage. You always land on like their Roseburg page or the page specific for that neighborhood, okay? And so we said, well, what if real estate investors just started adopting this model as well? And rather than everything being focused on their homepage, what if we then started guiding people to create pages on their website for every city that you would do business in? Okay, every city you would buy houses in, or on your cash buyer site, every city that you would sell properties in. Okay, so the layout of an Authority Hub is this. You, number one, launch a website. We make it really quick and easy at Carrot. You choose the type of website you want: motivated house seller, cash buyer, rent to own tenant. The list goes on. Land, which is a big growing segment right now. And then the website's literally launched and ready within about 10 seconds. Our websites are the fastest in the industry by load speed. There's reports out there. We just increased the speed another 50% this summer, keeping our clients ahead of the game. And page speed is important because the faster a page loads, the higher the conversion rate is going to be. So you're going to be losing less leads and deals. The better it's going to perform on mobile. And Google is now starting to figure page speed, or how fast your website loads, into its algorithm for SEO. So we take care of all that. But the core of the Authority Hub is what we call the core conversion pages. It's your homepage, and then a series of simple pages up here that basically guide the person through the order of the thought process they would have. If they land here, their main thing is, I've got this problem with this house. Can this company even help me solve it? That's the very first thing your website or your Authority Hub needs to solve within 5 seconds. So if someone's in Oklahoma City, they're going to land on this and discover they can solve my problem, it looks like, because they're in Oklahoma. They're saying that they would buy with no fees, no agent commissions, no closing costs. This is interesting to me. The next thing that's going to pop up in their mind, Matt, in your core conversion pages is, well, how does this thing work, right? It's like, so how does it work? How's it different than a real estate agent? Things like that. So then you have content up here that talks about that. Okay, well, how does the process work? Well, here's the 3 steps. Here's my video that walks you through it. And here's a call to action. Every page should always have a call to action. And then they're going to go, cool, I understand they have a service that can help me. I understand kind of how it works, but like, are they legit? You know, are they legit? Are they going to scam me? Or I've never heard of this thing of selling a house directly. And then right here, very, very next is your testimonials. It's going, well, here's what other people have said about working with us. Now, if you're a newer investor and you don't have testimonials like they do, there's processes that we teach in our training that can help you build credibility and trust, honest, good, trust fast. Then as you do deals, you swap it out with this stuff. But if you land here, you're like, man, they're legit. They've got lots of people that have already helped. And it seems like those people have really, really had an amazing experience. And then last, they might have a couple other questions, right? Well, I've got these other questions. So that's where your FAQ comes in, or the blog. That's your core conversion pages, okay, and your about page. Next on the Authority Hub, and that's where most people stop. Most people stop right there. The next thing then is to go, okay, now we need to cast a wider net to get more traffic coming in. And this is the next part of the Authority Hub, which is what cities do we invest in? Create those location pages, and our system helps make it really, really easy for you. So they have a page on Bethany, Oklahoma, and it's a very similar style, just a little bit different content, so it's not exactly the same. And so if someone were to type a phrase like sell my house fast in Bethany, Oklahoma, this site's a relatively new one, so I don't know if they're already ranking there, but the chances are, yeah, so they're ranked number one in Google for sell my house fast, Bethany, Oklahoma, okay? And there's probably other Carrot customers here as well. The last part of the Authority Hub, Matt, is the part that almost no one does. And even Carrot customers don't do it as well as they should, given the tools that they've got at their disposal. Is we've got the core conversion pages. We're only going to modify those maybe a couple times a year. You're going to do the initial build out, and then you're only going to add testimonials as you have new ones. And your core conversion pages, you're not going to touch a lot, right? Then next year's your location pages, like I showed. Maybe add a quarter. Every quarter, add 3, 4, 5 of those. New cities, new keywords, things like that. That's going to help expand your traffic. Mm-hmm. Last then is that consistent content part to build that authority and trust even more is the blog content. And we have an automated blog system, so they didn't write any of these articles. So like how to sell your house to an investor in Oklahoma City, how to sell your house off market. This is all content that our team writes, optimizes, then creates in a system that you guys can go in there, schedule content. And then you can come in here, modify the content if you want. What I would suggest is using the video post feature, getting comfortable in front of video because it's going to build that connection. So that's the 3 parts of your Authority Hub. Number 1 is the core conversion pages, nailing that, because that's going to help all of your marketing work better. That's your trust. That's your credibility. That's the core thing that's going to help guide people down the path of conversion. That's what we've pioneered in the industry. That's why our websites convert far, far, far better than most other websites in the industry. Number 2, to get more traffic is your location pages. Do a few of those a quarter. Number 3, to build trust and long tail traffic. That's your blogs and blog posts like that farmland piece of content here. On an annual basis or weekly basis, it might be 20 to 30 minutes a week after you get your initial core conversion pages built out.
Nice. That's phenomenal, man. Yeah, I think that framework right there. Make sure to rewatch this. This will be live on our YouTube channel as well. Make sure to rewatch this, have a pen and paper, and take notes on that, because I think Trevor gave extremely actionable steps there on how to really launch that on business and put in the biggest bang for your buck. So, Again, I really, really appreciate your time today. I'll throw the link up as well. This talks a lot about how DealMachine and Carrot plays so well together. So make sure to check that out as well if you're interested at all. Trevor, is there any other way people can be following up with you? Or, I just love seeing the passion that you have to really help people have, make that impact and build their own time freedom. But outside of that, how can people connect with you and follow up with you too directly?
Dude, for sure, man. So I've got a podcast called the Carrot Cast. So just go to carrotcast.com or find us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We do two podcasts a week. One of them is kind of interview style like this with clients of ours, showing you how they're doing what they're doing. And then the other one's literally on my cell phone. I call them Trevor Truck Talks, and it's all mindset. It's all just mindset as an entrepreneur as I'm driving home. And then the next thing, Matt, is we have really, really great content like you mentioned online. So guys, go to that link that Matt had posted through. That's going to take you through showing that you're introduced by DealMachine. And then we have all kinds of free resources on our website. So if you were to follow that link that Matt posted through and then go up to the top of the website that you'll find over there, there's a link that says resources. And once you're over there, you can find all kinds of free stuff. You can find our video marketing guide to give you literally all the ideas. You can find our Evergreen marketing webinar where you can dig in on this topic, but I go in like a masterclass on it, give you examples of content, how to do it, how to market it, how to set up that website. So go through the link that Matt posted there. Then at the top of our site, click the resources tab or the webinar tab and dig into that content.
Perfect. Well, man, I appreciate your time again, Trevor. Thanks so much for coming on, and looking forward to the next one.
Awesome, buddy. I appreciate the invite. And Deal Machine community, guys, hit us up. If you're not a Carrot member, reach out to us. We'd love to help you. If you are already one, amazing. Tune into our weekly coaching calls, a podcast, and we love you guys. Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it, Trevor. Thanks again for coming on, and everybody listening. Happy deal finding.
Awesome. Thank you.